Namaste. Welcome to Indian Knowledge Systems, a primer course for children. In this session, we will be looking at Dinacharya. What is Dinacharya? Dinacharya can be roughly translated to set of practices that we do on a daily basis. Dina and Charya. So, Dinacharya is the first and basic lifestyle regimen in Ayurveda. It includes set of lifestyle related best practices for self-care. Self-care practices such as personal hygiene, exercise, spiritual practices, meals and sleep are all included in Dinacharya. The routine can be adapted to meet the need of each individual's Prakriti and Vikriti. What is Prakriti? We would have seen in the earlier lectures that Prakriti is the base constitution of an individual, while Vikriti is the current constitution of an individual. For example, Prakriti is something that you are usually born with, while Vikriti depends on the day, it depends on the age, it will keep varying. On a hot sunny day, it is easy for somebody to be Pitta dominant, but their Prakriti need not be so. So, Dinacharya is considered very essential for health and well-being. It maintains the balance in the body, mind and spirit. It prevents common health problems. It is adaptable to individual needs. As we saw in the earlier slides, that one can develop a routine which best suits their need. It aligns with the natural rhythms of the day. It also boosts purpose and clarity in daily life. Let us now see what are all the major components of Dinacharya. Dinacharya involves practices that starts from the moment an individual wakes up and goes on till the individual retires to sleep. So, waking up early is definitely the first best practice one can imbibe. Cleaning their teeth, oral care, nasal care, eye care, oil massage, exercise, bathing, meditation, eating a balanced diet at regular intervals, sleep, personal hygiene and good conduct are some major common components of a Dinacharya. So, when one tries to build their own self-care routine, it is important for them to consider all these aspects while designing one. The first component, as we saw earlier, is waking up early. Otherwise, in Sanskrit, it's called as Pratah Kalottana. In Ashtanga Hridayam, there is a beautiful verse which talks about the significance of waking up early. Let's try to recite it now. Brahme muhurte uttishtet svastho rakshardhamayushah. What does this mean? Brahma Muhurta is considered an ideal time for waking up. The time 45 minutes before sunrise is considered as Brahma Muhurta. Typically, 4:30 am to 5:30 am is considered as Brahma Muhurta. It is advised that one should wake up around this time to reap maximum benefits. Ayurveda recommends waking up at this Brahma Muhurta helps one maintain a healthy life. It aligns the circadian rhythms with that of the nature cycle on that particular day. What is circadian rhythm? Circadian rhythm can be understood as a biological clock or an internal clock that operates in each individual. We are usually aligned with the larger sun and moon cycles. So, the circadian rhythm is what puts us to sleep when the night falls, and it is also the one that wakes us up when the sun rises. Have you seen people have jet lags when they travel to different time zones? And after a few days, the jet lag also vanishes off. It's because their circadian rhythm gets attuned to the climate or the weather or the zone that they are operating from. So, waking up early at Brahma Muhurta definitely promotes mental clarity and productivity as well. The second component is Danta Dhavana, that is cleaning the teeth. Cleaning the teeth is very important for oral hygiene and overall health. It also improves digestion. Ayurvedic texts suggest that natural twigs like neem, acacia can be used for cleaning teeth. These are natural, sustainable ways of using materials that are available for cleaning the teeth. Rather than resorting for something synthetic or something artificial, one can once in a while try such natural solutions. Twigs especially should have few aspects. They should be of a certain type. Twigs are expected to be astringent, bitter or pungent in taste. It has to be straight and around the thickness should be as much as that of the little finger. Not too thick, not too small. Individuals with health conditions such as indigestion, vomiting, fever or mouth ulcerations should be careful while brushing their teeth. Mouth ulceration, if one can understand, is also an expression of a aggravated pitta. So when you have too many mouth ulcers, it's possible that when you try to brush it with your twigs, that you might hurt yourself. In severe cases, it is advised not to brush. The next Dinacharya routine is that of oral care. Now that we have woken up early and we have brushed our teeth, it's important to take care of the mouth organ as well. So, scraping your tongue, jihva nirlekhana, is a very important activity. It removes the toxins and bacteria from the tongue. You would have seen generally when you go and look at yourself in the mirror in the morning, you can find a thin white layer on your tongue. It's usually a certain type of ama deposition. Ama can be translated into metabolic waste. So removing that is very good. It improves the digestion. The next oral care routine is that of gargling, otherwise called as Kavalagraha. Swishing warm sesame oil or salt water in the mouth for 10 to 20 minutes helps to remove the toxins. It strengthens the gums and the teeth. It also removes discoloration of the teeth. It improves oral hygiene. It has to be done in the morning before brushing your teeth, preferably. Then comes nasal care. Nasya. Nasya is the application of a warm herbal oil or ghee to the nostrils. It helps in lubrication and prevents dryness. This nasal area, if you see, needs to be maintained in a certain moisturized level. The mucus inside helps us in breathing properly. Dryness causes a lot of irritation. So, Nasya helps in lubrication of this part. It is also said that Nasya, sustained Nasya practices also enables a lot of brain activity. Next comes Jalaneti. Jalaneti is rinsing the nasal passage with warm saline water. Please note, this saline water should be of the consistency of your own teardrop. Only that much amount of salt is required. So this is to remove the allergens and improve the hygiene of the nasal cavity. It balances the kapha dosha. So usually people with mild blockages in the morning, the nose definitely as an organ is prone for blockages in the morning. So Jalaneti can be used for removing those blockages. Dhumapana is inhalation of herbal smoke through the nose to clear the passages as well. It improves respiratory health. These are three set of nasal care routines. It's not necessary or mandatory that all the three should be performed on the same day. But based on one's own assessment of how their Prakriti and Vikriti is on that particular day, they can think about what would best suit their need. The next Dinacharya practice is that of eye care. it's very important to pay special attention and care to your eyes. Anjana or collyrium, applying specially prepared kajal to the eyes directly daily acts as a moisturizer. The eyes are prone for a lot of dryness and irritation. Hence, applying anjana will moisturize the eyes. Washing your eyes is also a preferred routine because it removes off all the dirt from your eyes. It has to be done with lukewarm or cold water. It also prevents dryness and irritation. A good eye care practice can help maintain health of the eyes and improve the vision as well. So, application of kajal is not just for the ladies, it is also allowed for men. The next Dinacharya practice is that of abhyanga or oil massage. Usually, warm oil is massaged daily all over the body with special attention to your ears, your head and your feet. Different oils are recommended for abhyanga and this is also dependent on your prakriti type. Usually, if the individual's dosha is that of vata dominant, then ideal that they use sesame oil because it helps to remove or balance out the vata dosha. If it is pitta dominant, then it is good to use coconut oil because it has a lot of cooling effect. If it is kapha dominant, then you will have to induce some amount of heat into the body. So, you would prefer to use mustard oil. Abhyanga should be avoided when there is an increase of kapha dosha in the body. Why so? Because abhyanga tends to cool down the body a bit. So, if there is an aggravated kapha dosha already, it is ideal that you don't do abhyanga. Also, people who have undergone Shodhana Shamskaras. Shodhana is that of purificatory processes, therapies such as Panchakarma, etc. They are also advised not to undergo abhyanga. Also, people suffering from indigestion are advised not to undergo abhyanga. Because what abhyanga does is it improves the circulatory process, the blood circulation in the body, and we would want during times of indigestion, we would want the blood circulation to be high in the stomach so that digestion can happen further. Hence, people with indigestion are advised not to undergo abhyanga. Now, what are all the benefits of abhyanga? One can intuitively understand. Abhyanga will definitely promote digestion. It helps in good quality of sleep. It nourishes the skin. It removes toxins from the body. It also enhances immunity and it promotes sound sleep, reduces stress and promotes relaxation. The next practice or component of Dinacharya is that of Vyayama or exercise. Exercise we definitely know has numerous benefits for the body. It helps in warming up the body so that it can set in motion things that the body wants to do on that day. So, it includes improved digestion, better work performance, it helps burning fat and it gives a better physical shape. It also promotes a lot of agility. It is important to tailor your exercise routine based on the seasonal changes, the food intake, the body type and your dynamic needs. Sometimes you might feel a little heavy. On those days, it is important to have a lot of warming up exercise. Some days, you might already be feeling a lot flexible. So, you don't have to warm up your body so much at that time because it will again heat up your body a lot. So, you have to be mindful of what you are doing as an exercise on that particular day. Usually, integrating simple yogic routines such as Surya Namaskara, Pranayama can make the exercise regime holistic and ensure robust health. It is also important to be cautious not to over-exercise because over-exercising can lead to excessive thirst, emaciation, bleeding disorders and other health issues. After exercising, it is equally important to warm down your body. This can be done using simple, gentle massages to avoid strains and injuries. Practices like meditation and pranayama can also provide for mental and emotional benefits in addition to the physical benefits. Because when we see exercise as a regimen, it's not just that we are working on the physical body. Because when you work on the physical body, when you promote blood circulation, for example, it also calms and balances your emotions. Hence, practices such as pranayama can directly result in such calming down of the mind. The next component is snanam or bathing. It's recommended to bath in the morning after exercising and also preferably before you get to bed that day. Bathing purifies the body and mind. It definitely freshes up for the day. It promotes hygiene and improves overall health. Bathing preferably should be done using warm water and natural substances suitable for one's individual dosha. It is advised to not pour warm water directly onto the head because it sort of weakens the hair follicles. The strength of the hair follicles will go away if you directly pour warm water onto your head. It should be done at an appropriate time. This is very, very important because snanam as one component can help in balancing the dosha of an individual very quickly. Hence, the correct time of bathing is very, very important. And bathing should also be done with an appropriate technique to maximize its effectiveness. As we discussed earlier, warm water poured on the head is very counterproductive as it decreases the strength of hair follicles. Benefits of snanam include improved digestion, prolongs life, increases enthusiasm and strength. It also removes dirt, itching, removes of toxins from the body. It removes us of exhaustion, sweat, tiredness, excessive thirst and burning sensation. Generally, bathing is associated with relaxation and removal of stress. Elaborate personal hygiene practices are also listed in the Dinacharya routine, such as paying attention and cutting your nails, both the hand and the toes. Very important to clean all your orifices, such as when you wash your face in the morning after, let's say brushing your teeth. It's important that you also wash your ears and the back of your ears. These are places we tend to sort of neglect. It's important that we are mindful of these as well. The next important thing is eating a balanced diet. Ayurveda recommends eating a balanced diet of fresh and whole foods. We have already seen in the Ahara session that how important is Ahara considered in Ayurveda. Ahara is considered as Mahabhaishajyam, which is the supreme medicine. So, eating a balanced diet is very critical in Dinacharya. It promotes optimal digestion and nutrient absorption. Eating at the right time is also equally significant. It maintains energy and vitality. The food should be adapted to meet the needs of each individual's Prakriti and Vikriti. Because some days you would want to have something very cooling and calming, and at some days you would be craving for something spicy. We should be mindful of such cravings and cater to them appropriately. The next component in Dinacharya and a very critical component is that of sleep or Nidra. Ayurveda recommends at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. Generally, for children, it is advised to be so. But as you become adults, your sleep quota may reduce, so you will have to focus on the quality of your sleep. Hence, calming practices such as pranayama before sleep can come in handy. Sleep promotes physical and mental rejuvenation. It allows the body to repair and restore itself. It maintains optimal health and well-being. Besides these self-care practices in a Dinacharya routine, Ayurveda also talks about good conduct or sadvritti. Before we go on to understand what are all the sadvrittis are, we will also understand what are all the things that we shouldn't be doing. Ashtanga Hridayam lists 10 habits that are not ideal and that should not be followed. And these 10 habits are marked across the body, speech, and mind. Let's now try to understand these 10 things one by one. For the body, we should not do himsa, that is, we should not cause injury to others. Steya, we should not steal. Anyata kama, we should not desire for others' things. So these are all the 3 deeds that one should not allow the body to do. For the speech, paishunya, which is tale bearing, where you talk ill about others, that's not ideal. Similarly, parusha vachana, harsh speech, is also not advisable. Anrita vachana, where one does not speak the truth, is also not advisable. Shambinna alapa, the speeches that causes enmity, is also not to be done. These 4 things are bad deeds, considered as bad deeds with respect to speech as an action. Through the mind, one should not engage the mind in vyapada, which is quarrel and intention for harming. Abhidhya, which is jealousy and not tolerating the good in others. Drigviparya, which is lack of faith in our scriptures, elders and tradition. All these 3 should not be done with the mind. So, what are all the list of good conduct that one should actually be doing? Let's have a look. Sadvritti. These are all the list of sadvritti that one can actually do. One should practice compassion towards others and all the living beings. One should cultivate habit of giving and generosity. Dhana as a habit should be inculcated, because for dhana to happen, one should genuinely feel grateful and feel fulfilled. Then only one can actually become generous. Eating in moderation after full digestion of the previous meal. This is also very important. One should avoid forcing natural urges, nor should they delay in attending to them. One should exercise control over one's speech, action and thought. We should be very mindful of what we speak, what we are doing and what we are thinking as well. One should foster selflessness, especially in considering the interest of others as your own. So what does this even mean? So when you try to help out your friend for an exam, you genuinely want them to fare well in the exam. That should be your intent. That's where you are becoming selfless. You are fostering that selflessness in you so that you can help out your friend. One should regularly reflect on how your days and nights are spent so as to guide your actions. We should be very mindful of what we are doing on a day-to-day basis. One should maintain constant awareness to avoid becoming a victim of sorrow. Adhering to these rules can lead to long life, health, wealth, reputation and spiritual fulfillment. We will also now try to understand how should one speak. Ashtanga Hridayam tries to explain the good conduct in speech using this particular verse. Let's try to chant it. Kale hitam mitam bruyat visamvati peshalam. Kale hitam mitam bruyat. Kale bruyat means speak only at the right occasion. You should speak only when it is appropriate for you to speak. Hitam bruyat, speak good words. It should be pleasant. Mitam bruyat, speak very little, only as per necessity. One of my professors used to say that if you can convey something in 3 words, then you should use exactly only those 3 words. You don't use a word extra nor a word less. That is how mindful you should be when you are trying to speak. It is important that you always speak the truth and in a pleasing manner. So this is what Ashtanga Hridayam suggests as a good conduct when one is trying to speak. It is advised that always one should first initiate a conversation and greet others because it makes the other person comfortable and feel valued. Maintain a very cheerful demeanor and keep a smile on your face. Uphold good character and demonstrate in your actions. This is very, very important. Only when you see goodness in you will you be able to appreciate yourself. At the same time, you can channelize that goodness in your actions. And by doing so, it will be very helpful to you and your friends. Embody courtesy and softness both in the speech and your actions. The speech, like we mentioned earlier, has to be hitam. It should be pleasant. The actions should not be extreme. It should not be sharp. It should not be hurting others. Avoid preference of solitude. Sometimes you would want to be alone. That is okay. But it is also as important to be engaging with others. It is very important to exercise discernment. One should be able to clearly see what is right and what is wrong. Avoid unquestioning belief in everything that you hear or see. It's important to evaluate whether what you have seen or heard is correct. Is it true? Refrain from developing suspicion towards everything and everyone around you. It's important to build a certain trust with people that move around you. It's important to look at them with a lot of positive attitude. Some more sadvritti includes forming immediate negative assumptions about others' intentions or allegiance. This definitely has to be avoided. One has to discern, analyze and understand before jumping into any such assumptions and conclusions. We have to keep personal instances of disrespect or insulting anybody has to be done only in private. It should never be discussed or even brought it up in public. We should refrain from expressing dissatisfaction or discontent with elders because elders definitely have a vast amount of experience. So, when they are advising us to not do something or to do something, we should try to see what is the reasoning or what is the meaning for which they are expecting us to do this or not do this action. It will be definitely in the best interest of our own self. When talking to others, it is important to understand what is their temperament, what is the state in which they are talking to us. Gauge it properly and then talk to them in a pleasant manner. It is important to adapt our approach to best suit the listener's preference. That's when we will be able to establish a proper communication. At the same time, mastering the art of making others feel valued is very, very critical. Now, we have seen what are all the sadvrittis or good conduct, especially when you are trying to speak, when you are trying to move around with people, when you are also trying to do or not to do certain things with your body, speech and mind. Now let's see, how should any action be directed? We would have seen the Purushartha framework earlier. How many Purusharthas are there? There are 4. Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. So, this particular verse in Ashtanga Hridayam specifically mentions that no matter whatever the action that you are engaged in, it is important that all those activities are directed towards pursuit of the 3 Purusharthas, which are Dharma, Artha and Kama. It should be appropriately balanced. By doing so, it definitely is also directed towards moksha or one's own self-liberation. Let's try to chant this verse. Trivargashunyam narambham bhajetam cha virodhayan. So the Trivarga Shunyam is that of the three Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha and Kama. So the verse, like we explained earlier, emphasizes on engaging in things that involves the pursuit of these three Purusharthas, and one should carry on all of these activities without going contrary to their own dharma and karma. Dharma is translated as righteousness, while karma is that of external action. All the action that you perform is called as karma. So how do we do this? So now we have understood what are all the things that we can and we cannot do. But how do we do this? So for that, Ashtanga Hridayam again points to this verse, which goes as Anuyayat pratipadam sarvadharmeshu madhyamam. In all the activities that one should adopt to do, they should only try and find a middle mean. What does that mean? You cannot oscillate between extremes. For example, one cannot take up a strong stance such as, oh, from nowadays I am not going to have any candy or chocolate, because it will test your willpower too much. You should also enjoy such regulations. So it's ideal that you try to find an optimal balance. You can try something like, now I am a little sick. Let me not have too many chocolates or sweets, for example. So it's important to try and find that balance. So we have seen what is Dinacharya, why is it so important, especially from an Ayurvedic perspective. We also see what were all the major components in Dinacharya. Now let's try to see what is the benefit of all of this. It aligns the circadian rhythm with the nature's cycle. It balances our doshas. It enables detoxification of the body and mind. It boosts our immunity. It reduces stress. It improves our digestion. It promotes circulation and lymphatic drainage. It improves sleep and overall well-being. At the same time, it helps one ground and nurture themselves. The best part about Dinacharya, as we have seen, is that all of these best practices can be tailor-made according to one's own need. In fact, it can be customized to one's own need on that particular day. For example, we saw how Vyayama or exercise can have too much of warming up practices if your body feels a little heavy, while at the same time when you feel flexible, you don't need so many warm-up practices. Hence, knowledge of all the components of the Dinacharya practices helps one to assess their health and accordingly imbibe or inculcate routines that will best suit their need. Thank you.